Okay. Here we are, episode 11.
Episode 11.
Pico.
Pico.
The island of Pico.
Yes.
So our journey takes us to Pico now. We got on a ferry.
We got on a ferry from Velish
to Pico. It was about an hour. That was a really easy traveling when we knew we were going to be taking, because it's easier to take the ferry than it is to fly, because it would take obviously more time to fly, to check in, to get your bags, to do all that stuff.
Can you fly?
Yes, you can fly.
Okay.
Yeah, you can fly in.
I don't remember seeing an airport in Pico.
Oh yeah, there's an airport in Pico.
Okay, sorry Pico.
But the thing is it was easier for us, and actually less time, to take the ferry.
And inexpensive. It was like €3 a person.
It was so inexpensive. And you get to sit. It was beautiful weather. We were very lucky. It was beautiful weather. Calm seas. And I get it that there are some times where they don't run the ferries because if it's bad weather. But we were lucky. We had wonderful weather. And so we got to sit on we got the upper level where we got to see, St. George, leaving St. George, and then coming towards Pico. The big mountain of Pico, that as we got closer and coming in with a ferry, it becomes bigger and bigger,
if that's possible.
Yeah, it is such a dramatic effect.
Yes.
It was like, we're in Pico.
We were chaperoned by dolphins.
Yes, I forgot that.
So
How can I forget that? To either side of the ferry, as we were coming into Pico, we had dolphins to either side of the ferry. It was beautiful. Yeah. It was like, welcome to Pico. Come on in. Come on. Yeah. Follow us.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And then we got there, and again, another unique kind of island. It's the island is known as the Gray Island.
Or the Black Island if you look at Wikipedia.
Yeah, some people like Black Island, but no, it's called the Gray Island.
I call it the Graphite Island.
The Graphite. Okay, Graphite Island. We're coming up with our own terminology here.
Yes.
And I can see why. There are no lush green, stuff. The majority this is one of the youngest islands of all the islands.
300,000 years old.
300,000 years old. It is literally all basalt stone. So you've got volcanic stone everywhere.
Yeah, it's too young to have soil for the most part.
Right.
So it's rocky.
Very rocky.
It's not to say there's no trees, there's no greenery.
There
is not enough for farming of any substantial amount.
No. Plus, the island itself doesn't lead to that because, like you said, there isn't enough soil. Soil has to be brought into the island.
Right.
They don't have that soil. It's very rocky. And so it is very unique. And that you feel like you're on another planet.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Coming from St. George, which is so green and lush, and an hour later, if we're over where the vineyards are, it's like you're on Mars.
Yeah.
It's just rocky and...
Yeah.
Oh, an odd color. Like a rust-colored...
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
Just crazy.
Yes, it was, I kept saying to them, I feel like I'm on another planet because it is so stark in difference from what we have always been accustomed to in being on all the other islands, and it was so different, but we knew why we were there. We were there for the best wines. We've got wines that are produced there, we know has a history, from the 15th century of how long it's been growing there. And we know that there are monks that brought the vines with them to plant there so that they could have wine when they celebrated Mass on Sundays or when they celebrated Mass.
Because they weren't worried about communion. They just wanted to make sure they had
wine.
So,
yes.
Smart guys.
Smart friars and monks. And so, so we get there, and the first thing, we do besides checking in and getting our car and doing all that stuff is we go right into going to the co-op. We went right into the co-op because I wanted to see different, because you have wines that are produced there, but you've got different companies that produce wines. And the majority of people that live on the island of Pico have a small vineyard. So what happens is they all chip in together. They've created this co-op, and every I think it's over 250.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, people with private little owned vineyards in their backyard bring their grapes to this co-op, and then they produce these amazing wines.
You know, so I have a little different take on things than you do, because while you were filming, you were busy.
Yes.
While you were filming, I had some time to kill.
Okay.
Not that I wasn't paying attention. I was paying close attention.
He wasn't paying attention.
But the co-op, the cheese co-op in Azores, wine co-op, Pico, immaculate.
Oh my God.
I cannot tell you how clean these places are.
Absolutely.
So impressive. So impressive.
Absolutely. You could eat off the floor.
I wouldn't do that.
It was that pristine. It really was. He's laughing, but it's
that is
true.
a terrible analogy. I would never eat off the floor. There's no 5-second rule, okay? There's no 5-second rule.
It was that clean. It was very clean. And every time we would go into in another room or another thing, you would see that the floors had been cleaned and scrubbed, and every instrument, everything was like spick and span.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. But we went into the co-op, we tasted these wines, and these wines are available here in the United States, which is a small percentage, because we know that a small amount is created out of that island. And a lot of the stuff that's grown on that, produced on that island is already spoken for, even before it's made. So, because it is so unique in flavor. So there were things that I taste tested that never makes its way to the United States. That was like incredible, just incredible.
And they can't expand, right? They've maxed out their vineyards,
right?
So they're not going to grow more,
right?
This is it. So
this is it.
If you're at a restaurant and you get a chance to get some wine from Pico,
get it.
Grab it. If you get to pay a little extra, it's worth it.
It's worth it, because you're right. It is so different, and to know that these wines, these grapes are grown in such rough. Oh my God, it's you've got the walls that separate property, the high walls that separate property from another, but inside these high walls there are smaller walls underneath that separate small amounts of the vines, because they're protecting from the wind, the harsh winds, and the salt air, and all of that to kind of protect those vines.
Right.
So it creates a wine that is incredible.
Well, the taller walls separate by owner, and then the lower walls separate by family member, right? So as the families have grown in generations, they've subdivided the plots. Oh, yeah.
No, that's not what I heard from the gentleman. I heard from the gentleman it was the tall walls separate individual ownership.
Right.
So but inside, you have to do the small walls around a certain number of vines, because you have to have your own.
Okay, so the small walls have dual purpose.
Yes. Okay.
Eco and by family.
Okay.
But some of these small little patches are like 8 by 8.
Yeah.
It's 8 foot by 8 foot.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the harvesting, because you're working in these small conditions.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's incredible. It's incredible to see, and I mean, every time we talk about another island, we keep saying you have to see it, but you have to see it. I mean, I knew I had read up on it. I had seen enough pictures. I thought I was going to come in and not be surprised by anything, because I had done our homework on it and knew what I wanted to see and what I wanted to experience. But when you get there, it's like, oh my God, nothing really prepares you for that until you're there and you see it and you experience it and you have it and you've got these amazing things that you're.
Yeah. We stayed in, I'm terrible with names, Madalena.
We stayed in Madalena, yeah.
Which was very cute.
Yes.
Easily walkable.
Oh, yeah.
Everything we needed we could find.
Oh, yeah, all walking distance.
That was simple.
Yeah.
We went and toured the Whaler Museum in Lush.
Yeah, the Whalers Museum. Yeah.
I wish we had more time in Lush. The Whaler Museum was great. Whalers Museum was great.
Museum, yeah.
People in it were terrific.
Oh, Anna was wonderful.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
She was a sweetheart.
And then, she invited us back
for that weekend.
Because they were having a festa, but it just didn't work out for us scheduling wise. We only had 3 days. We were running from the time we woke up to the time we went to bed. But that would have been an awful lot of fun. So I would say, as opposed to Azores, and maybe we just didn't see it, but Pico was a little more built for tourists because you had
the wine,
the whale watches. You could tour the wine museum. There's the Whaler Museum.
Yep.
There's just a little bit more of that.
Yes, there was plenty of museums.
You could hike to the top of
Pico
if you wanted to.
I did not. We did not have enough time. I don't think I'm in my 60s. I just did not feel comfortable.
I'm in my 40s. I didn't want to do it.
He's not in his 40s. You are not. But I didn't want to. There's some people like, oh, I want to hike up to the mountain. I've never been that kind of person, even in my 20s and 30s. So in my 60s, I am not going to say, I want to climb that mountain now.
I wanted a mountain of wine.
Yes. We went there to know the history, to taste the wine, to, speak to the people that are there, get to know Pico.
Not to become part of the history.
Correct.
To learn about it.
To learn about it. Yes, I did not want to. That was not part of what I wanted to do. Maybe the second time we go there, the next time we go to Pico, maybe, because I guess there's certain. You don't have to go to the very top. There's different spots you could stop to see.
I was comfortable where we went.
Me too. I was too. But maybe down the road we might go, let's go take a little one. I guess you could take the car to a certain spot and then get out and walk a little bit more. Maybe we'll do that. But we did not have the time. We did not have the time for it.
No.
And the people that we met, it was Anna at the Whalers Museum. It was the people from the co-op and the other people from the private vineyard that we dealt with. They were really wonderful, sweet people. And, the one thing that I wanted to make in Pico, I did not get to make it there. And I did not get to enjoy it, was the caldeira de peixe, which that is the one of the main dishes that they make in Pico. And I guess we missed it by a week when they were having the feast with the caldeira de peixe. So we missed it by a week.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
And we had heard that after 2 years of no tourist season, that they got blown out this year.
Yes.
Just completely blown out. So by the time we were able to go, and we couldn't go any earlier because there were no hotel rooms, we couldn't get cars, we just couldn't get there any earlier.
No.
By the time we did show up,
they were tired.
And
they were tired.
I respect that.
I do too. I respect that. And everyone who I would speak to, I'd say, I'm just missing the caldeira de peixe. And every time I would ask someone, they would ask other people, and they would say, no, no one's doing that, or that's when you do that. You do that in an adega, with whatever. There's like a certain thing, and we had just missed it. So we'll just need to go back again and have a caldeira de peixe when we go there. I mean, that's what we got to do. We got to do what you got to do. But, so we did the most we could on the island, which was a lot of wine.
Yeah, and you can go for wine tastings there, too.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're a wine tourist, this would be an amazing place to go.
Right, and if you're in either Azores, because you've got the Triangle Islands, and they actually call them the Triangle Islands. You've got Pico, you've got Fayal, and you've got Azores. Easily accessible by ferry. So if you're in Fayal, if you're doing it, which we'll talk about Fayal another day, which we loved also. Oh my gosh, he was looking at houses for sale there. I was
applying for jobs.
He was. He's like, oh my God, I love this island.
Margot said I'm not qualified. I was applying to be a weeder in a farm.
In a farm. That's a whole other story, another whole episode. But when we were, the key thing is you can be in Fayal and say, I want to take a day trip and go to Pico for wine tasting. You can do that. If you're in Saint Georges and you want to go in to Pico for the day to just do wines, you can. You can do that and then go back to Saint Georges. It is that easy.
Or you could stay in Pico and go to Fayal and Saint Georges.
Oh, absolutely.
Or...
Oh, my God.
You could go to Saint Georges and take the ferry to Pico.
Oh, my God.
Or Fayal.
Oh, my God. You are being difficult today, aren't you?
I'm being helpful.
Oh, my God.
There's people who haven't been there.
Okay, all right. Okay.
And they want to know.
They want to know. So these 3 islands are very easily accessible from one to the other.
Yes.
And so don't feel like if you're going to one, you're going to miss out on any of them.
You will find something to do on all 3.
On all 3. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was beautiful. Again, people were wonderful that we worked with and that we met. They were very hospitable. For the short period of time, we were there for a very short period of time. So for the time that we were there, it was just all about wines. That's all we did. We did wine tasting the whole time. Because that in itself...
Wines and whales.
Wines and whales. Yeah.
We have to go.
We have to go. Oh my God, yes.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time. We have to talk about Fayal next.
Episode 12, spoiler alert. Fayal.
It's Fayal.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.